Hello, friends. We are back and finally podcasting live from Dun 3. This is the first podcast from section 1.1 in your AP Stats book. This is going to be a single podcast just to get you warmed up for Friday's classes. These are the goals. These are the things you want to leave section 1.1 knowing and being able to do. All right. So, the first thing I want to emphasize is being able to make a stem and leaf plot. There's an example in your book. This graph comes from page 43, and what they've done is they've taken a number of percentages that they got from table 1 at the top of page 43, and over here they just went through each number and wrote in all of the tens digits here, so those are the stems, and each of the ones digits. So this is the number 29, number 31, number 38, 46, and all the numbers, and they just put them in by the tens digit. And then in this last example, they just went and put them in numerical order here. So instead of 6 and a 2 and a 5, you get 2, 5, 6. Instead of 1, 1, 0, 8, you get 0, 1, 1, 8. They just put them in numerical order. This is a stem and leaf plot. If I were to put these two, do both of them, so one for male and one for female, I'd get a double-sided stem and leaf plot. So if you are not familiar with this is not a complicated task. You should just read that section and familiarize yourself with the stem plot. What we're going to be looking to do here is describe data, and I'm going to call this GSOCs. You want to talk about gaps and peaks. So if I go back and look at this stem and leaf plot, all right, see I got a gap right in here in the 50s, and I have a peak right here at the 8, and I have another peak right down here on 38, and this is 78. So these are peaks, these are gaps. I'm also looking for the shape. Now this is neither symmetric, and I'd have to say this is skewed a little bit right because there are more low numbers extending out from the bulk of the data. Okay, this one's going to be a little more symmetric. It doesn't really lean, maybe a little bit skewed right as well, skewed left. Beg your pardon, this is skewed left as well because these are smaller numbers. All right, so skewed, outliers, where's the center? The mean and the median, mode's less important, and the range, the lowest number to the highest number, and we're also going to talk about quartiles, but we can do that on the calculator. So this is what we're looking to do with sets of numbers that we get. Describe them in terms of these things. If you look in your book on page 48, you got a problem 1.5, and what I'm going to show you briefly here is how to do a histogram and a box and whisker plot on the calculator. Okay, so we got a stem and leaf plot, which is what I just showed you. That's a stem and leaf. We got a back-to-back, side-by-side stem and leaf, so I'm basically two at the same time. Now I'm going to show you histogram and box and whisker plot on the calculator. There it is. So first thing you're going to do is get into your list. Hit Stat, Edit, and you should come to Lists. All right, notice I've already put the numbers in. You should pause the podcast and put the numbers in your calculator. Once you've put all these numbers in L1, we're going to go to Stat Plot, which is second, and the Stat Plot button. Notice mine are turned on, and we're going to use the first two. So let's just hit the number 1 and get in there. And now we just tell the calculator what we want the plot to look like. All right, we want to turn this on. If yours isn't, hit Enter on. Down arrow, we're going to go over to histogram right there and hit Enter. And if your X list doesn't say L1, because that's where our numbers are, we're going to down arrow and hit second and the L1. Now go up to plot 2. Click Enter. You'll go in there. Make sure it's turned on. Hit Enter. We're going to go down, and you have to right arrow to the modified box plot. That's the one right here with the two little dots by it. Enter. If your X list doesn't say L1, second in the L1. Enter. And then we're going to get out of here by going second, quit. And then to look at this, you're going to go zoom 9. Down to 11 seconds, so I'm going to set my window by hitting the window key. Put in these numbers and hit the graph button, and I'll explain to you why we did that in class.